this meeting to order. This is the City of Southfield Planning Commission study meeting, November 10th, 2021, conducted via WebEx teleconference. I have a roll call, please.
Yes, sir. Mr. Culpepper.
Here.
Mr. Griffith.
Here.
Mr. Huntington.
Present.
Mr. Martin.
Here.
Ms. Mia. I'm not seeing Ms. Mia on. Dr. Stevens-Gunn. Dr. Stevens-Gunn, you have to unmute yourself. Dr. Stevens-Gunn, still can't hear you. Mr. Willis? Yeah, I don't see Mr. Willis on either. You do have a quorum to conduct business, though, however, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I have a motion to approve the agenda.
To the chair, this is Commissioner Culpepper.
Yes.
I move that we approve the agenda as written.
Mr. Martin,
Commissioner
second.
Huntington.
Okay, we've got a motion by Commissioner Culpepper, second by Commissioner Martin. We have a roll call vote on that, please.
Yes, sir. Mr. Culpepper,
Yes.
Mr. Huntington,
Yes.
Mr. Martin.
Yes.
We'll try Dr. Stevens-Gunn again. Dr. Stevens-Gunn. Looks like I can see you on and you're unmuted, but I don't quite understand what is going on.
She's waving now. I see her waving on a screen.
Oh, okay.
And she says thumbs up. Well, she motioned thumbs up.
Okay.
Sound difficulties, apparently.
Okay. Mr. Willis?
Speak to that.
And still no Mr. Willis. Mr. Griffith?
Yes.
Okay, so you do have an approval of your agenda this evening. I do have one announcement, though, if we could do that before we get into our first item, sir.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. For those who are watching or listening to tonight's Planning Commission meeting, one of the items that was advertised for was a site plan for a proposed duplex on Westland down in section 34 of the city. The petitioner was not ready with his plans for November for tonight's meeting. So that particular item is going to be postponed to the December agenda. I anticipate that I'm going to get new plans from the petitioner probably within the next week or week and a half. So we'll do a review on that. And then again, for the public listening or watching, that particular item will not be discussed this month, but will be on the agenda with the Planning Commission in December. And with that, sir, that was the only announcement that I wanted to make. In case there was public out there who was listening, anticipating to hear the proposal this evening on that item, again, that will come back to the Planning Commission in December.
Okay, thank you. The first item on the agenda then is PZRODD 21-0004.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this is a proposal, it's actually a rezoning request for an overlay development district with a master development plan. Petitioner is Rand Construction Engineering on behalf of the owner, Southfield 12 LLC. The property is located 29200 Southfield Road. That is on the east side of Southfield Road, just north of 12 Mile. Sidwell parcel 2412-351-003. Existing zoning for that property is OS Office Service, and it is located within the North Southfield Road corridor sub-area. The proposal is to rezone to overlay development district for the development of a mixed-use retail development with climate-controlled storage facility. This is a closer look at the property. The area in question here is in red. Directly to the north of that is a bank, and then to the south is a parking lot that is part of a strip center. Across the street to the east, or to the west, I'm sorry, across Southfield Road, is the Applebee's restaurant, and then to the east are single-family homes fronting on Edwards. As I noted, the property is zoned OS Office Service, and future land use does show North Southfield Road sub-area, which does allow for overlay development district. Existing conditions of the property. So this is an image of the existing site, two-story office building. It should be noted the building is 40,000 square feet. It is a Class C office building built in 1960 and has been determined to be functionally obsolete as there is no elevator in the building, and currently it's 10 to 15% occupied. Generally, one of the questions that usually comes up when we talk about new storage facilities is the location of similar facilities within the area. So this particular slide shows that there are 4 existing storage facilities within a 3-mile radius of the existing site. One is on the east side of the property, just north of this proposed, on the west side of Southfield Road, just north of this proposed site. So it's almost a 13-mile road. There is also an existing self-storage on Greenfield Road in Oak Park. Another one on 10-mile road in Oak Park. We have one on Evergreen Road just south of the Civic Center here on the west side, south of Northwestern Highway. So again, within a 3-mile radius, there are 4 different self-storage units. Typically, with regard to the need for storage, and this is another question that usually comes up, don't we have enough of these already within our community? There are calculations that can be done to note a particular supply, whether or not there's enough, or whether a particular community might be short on storage locations. Within a 3-mile radius, there's a population of about 101,000 people. That's approximately 43,000 households, and 16,000 of those are either apartment units or homes without basements. So you can see that with an apartment or home without a basement, typically there's a need for some additional storage on a site or off-site in order to supply the needs for that particular homeowner. Over 90% of the storage, self-storage occupancy within, I showed you those 4 separate sites, there's over 90% occupancy rate for storage facilities. I noted that several competitors within the area. Per the 2021 national average of self-storage is 5.9 square feet per person. And within the area, the supply is only 2.9 square feet per person, which technically means that the community is short by about 3 square feet per person within our area, even with the existing facilities that are within a 3-mile radius. Taxable value. I'm showing this slide only because within the ODD development ordinance, economic impact of a development is taken into consideration when we look at a proposal for rezoning to ODD. Under the current site as an office building, the market value is $1,277,680 with a taxable value of $638,840 with annual taxes of $42,000. For the multiple use storage in a brand new building, we're looking at an almost, it's a $5.5 million market value with a taxable value of $2.7 million and annual taxes of $185,528. So again, the reason this is put in is because economics does come into play when we do look at overlay development districts and in reusing a piece of property for a different type use. This is the site plan for the property. You'll note the building structure is about 124,000 square feet. It's about 43,000 square feet on the bottom, and it's a 3-story facility. So that equals the about 124,000 square feet for the total facility of all 3 stories. It is a drive-through facility. You can see the entry, which would be on the Southfield Road side or the west side of the building, drive through and then exit on the east side of the building. One-way drive on the south side, and then a one-way drive on the north side. So it provides that one-way system all the way around. We do provide, or the petitioner is providing, the decorative fencing with the landscaping along the frontage of Southfield Road. This is a typical treatment that we have looked to use, similar to what was done across the street at the shopping center on the corner of 12 Mile and Southfield Road. And so this is a treatment that we would like to see in this North Southfield area, and the petitioner is providing that as well. You'll also notice there's a lot of landscaping on the north side and on the east side of the site. This is because there is residential directly to the east and a little bit north of this property. So we're trying to do our best to try and screen this particular building from those residences. You'll also notice that there's a proposed dumpster, which is in the south east corner of the property. Again, that was placed in that particular location again in order to be sensitive to the single-family home that is off the northeast corner of the building. Hours of operation. The petitioner has proposed hours of operation for the office of 9:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., and then access hours to the facility itself would be 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily. This shows a little bit more of the landscaping proposed for the property. Again, a lot of landscaping across the north with evergreens on the north and the east side of the property for that screening. Elevations. You can see the look of the building with bricks, as well as some other treatments, windows, as well as first floor retail here. So we are looking at first floor retail, as you know from previous projects that have been before you for storage, including the one that's north of this particular site on the west side of Southfield Road. First floor retail has been one of the items that has been included in this. You'll also note from an art requirement standpoint, up here at the top, this is a proposal for art. I'll show you a couple of other pictures here afterwards and describe that in a moment. So this is a rendering. This is basically looking north and east. This is looking south and east. And again, the art requirement, this is a rather iconic image. It was actually a photo that was taken of the RCA building in New York City in 1932 of 11 men sitting on a girder having lunch. So that is the proposal from this particular petitioner for the art requirement, would be to actually place that iconic photo or image or art piece as part of their building facade. Again, one more, a bird's eye view showing the building in relationship to the bank, which is directly to the north, and then the parking and the shopping center directly to the south. And with that, I'd like to introduce Mr. Andy Klein. Andrew is here along with other members of his team to provide some additional information. Andy, this is your opportunity.
Well, I'll tell you a little bit who our team is. We have the developer, Southfield 12 LLC, which are two individuals, Eugene Sears and Ed Hirsch. We have the architect is Joe Guido from Guido Architects, and our civil engineer is Pat Williams from Nowak and Prowse. I thought you did a great job, Jeff, explaining what we have here. It's an obsolete, functionally obsolete facility that the petitioner would like to demolish, and working with flexibility of the ODD district, build a multi-use neighborhood retail self-storage facility. The petitioner has an expert. This is what they do as part of their development group. They've built multiple facilities in other locations and have studied the market very carefully and feel this is an excellent opportunity for an underserved area. So we worked hard to try to meet all of the requirements that Southfield had. And I think that we've done a good job at that, and we're here to answer any questions, civil, architectural, or otherwise, that you may have regarding the project.
Thank you. I'd like to open up to the commission for questions and comments.
Mr. Martin,
Yes, go ahead.
I have a quick question about snow storage or where snow would be applied in the wintertime. You have a lot of driveway and area that you have to move the snow, I assume. And where would you be storing the snow?
We've got a snow stacking area immediately north of the dumpster enclosure. So if you look at the concrete pad in the bottom right corner of your screen, which is the southeast corner of the site, there is a roughly 15 by 100, give or take, snow stacking area right there along those evergreens.
Assume that there would be directional signs to make sure that anybody exiting the drive-through portion would know to go to the left only so that they could get out rather than going back against the one-way traffic.
So we could certainly have directional signage, yes.
Yep, we've got a directional sign right in front of that door as you exit, and that is the north extent of the snow storage area.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can, Dr. Stevens-Gunn. Thank you.
Okay, thank you all for your patience. I have a quick question regarding traffic patterns on Southfield Road at that location. It gets backed up. It gets backed up really bad during rush hour, and people that are going to be turning left out of that facility, have you thought about right turn only option exiting the property?
We haven't, because this is a facility that it's not like you have an enormous amount of people that I think exiting at any particular time. It's used throughout the day, but I didn't think that we have the type of volume that would create a problem for this type of facility.
Oh, and we're using the existing approach.
Yes, and we're maintaining the existing approach that is already there.
Thank you.
This is Commissioner Rob Willis.
Yes,
Yeah,
go ahead, Commissioner.
There are some that suggest that the storage business in a few years may witness a decline, and it makes me wonder, the building as built, would it be uniquely built for storage only, or is it something that could have a multiple use in the future? Let's say residential or some business use in the future.
I think the question I heard was if the building had to be readapted for some other use, could it be? Is that the question?
Yes, great.
Yeah, I don't think there's any reason why it couldn't be. It's essentially would be a large, wide open facility. I mean, we have our inside, which is the storage units themselves, but this could be readapted to something else. I think certainly it could be. But the market, the client spent a lot of time researching this because it's an enormous investment, and they're very, very comfortable based on their experience of building these facilities in numerous locations that this is a strong market. The dynamics have really changed over the years. It used to be that people would, for basic storage, but these buildings today are almost incubators for, new startup businesses too. People have business needs there. They store things for their businesses. There's general storage. We even have a community center there where people can, a little business area where people can conduct business within the building if they wanted to. I think they're very comfortable that this is a strong use for this location, but yes, it could be adapted to another use if it had to be.
Okay, thank you.
To the chair.
To the chair, Commissioner Huntington.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Huntington. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Yep. My, at first, when I first heard storage unit, I was like, oh, no, not another one. But, after really thinking about it, they do come in very handy. And just being in the housing business, people are trying to make more use of their basements and start using them. And the garages, they want to be able to park 2 cars in there and really use this stuff that's, has so much value to them. So the storage units are coming in handy and very needed. But one concern I have is really economical also, because if the economy does start to drop or dip, I think that's going to be one of the first things that people give up, because it can get a little costly also. Extra couple $100 a month kind of adds up. So that's my only concern is the economics of it. That's a pretty big size building that we would hate to see empty one day. So, but as of now, it's great right now. Just thinking about the future. All right, thank you.
This is Commissioner Culpepper.
Yes.
Couple of comments. I like the concept. I really like the landscaping. Looking at that area as I did today, it's barren. It doesn't give any appeal to Southfield Road or to the community. By putting in that landscaping, I think it really makes that area stand out. And I like the buffer idea. And the back is pretty well buffered from your neighbors. And what's interesting, I hope I get a chance to really see that artwork. That's really an interesting piece of art. But I think it's good. And it falls right in line with the other storage units, is that you got the storage unit and you got the retail downstairs on the first. So retail is a thing that we noticed coming, and it falls right in accordance with the other 3 we got. And reviewing your chart, it definitely shows that there is a need for storage. People want to, as Commissioner Huntington said, people want to utilize the area they have, and they don't want it cluttered, so they put it in storage, or they just want to downsize. People that's downsizing have furniture and stuff to get rid of, and they don't want to sell it. So I think this fits into an ODD review. Again, not only does it add to the city coffin, but it would definitely help beautify that area in there with the building looking so barren. So I like this, and I'm in favor of it. Thank you, Chair.
This is Commissioner Rob Willis again. Just thought of another question.
Okay, go ahead.
And well, actually, it's 2. Do you have any idea how many employees will be on site most of the day? And do you have any idea what potential stores would be utilizing that first floor commercial one?
Okay. To my knowledge, and the developer can speak of this, doesn't employ an enormous amount of people because they're pretty efficiently run. And so there's not a lot of people that are employed by it per se. As far as the retail component, they'll develop that as far as there'll be a mixture of different retail components. I don't know if they at this point I don't think they've selected anybody, but at other developments such as this, they've been able to fill the building with retail people, and it's going to be probably pretty much what you have normally, whether it's coffee shops or office supply or whoever it might be, but it'll be people that serve the local community.
Again, thank you.
Thank
Chair,
you.
Commissioner Martin.
Yeah, go ahead, Commissioner Martin.
I notice you have 1 handicap parking space. Is that adequate for the 4 businesses other businesses that would be located there?
Pat Williams, are you on?
There's,
Okay.
Yep, I'm here. Yeah, one handicap space is required for the first 25 parking spaces. So that's, that's what the code requires. I think we actually have two on the drawing. I think we have two handicap spots.
If I may through the chair, yeah, there are two. There's an van accessible space that's noted as the van ACC, and then the PH would then be the other barrier-free space. And as it was noted, barrier-free spaces are determined by the number of overall parking spaces. And again, because of the number of spaces that are required, only two barrier-free spaces are required for this.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the commission? I have a few.
Yes, Commissioner Huntington through the chair.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Commissioner Hines.
Jeff, this is really for you, Jeff. Do we have a cap on how many of these units can be built?
No, we don't. And I think that's one of the reasons why I think there's always a concern about the petitioner having to actually provide us with market studies to show that there actually is a need for something like this. And as I noted in one of the slides earlier, there is a need, appears to be a need in this community for additional storage space. But no, there is not a cap on storage facilities within the city of Southfield.
Okay, thank you.
I think this is self-storage is obviously a buzzword around the real estate investment industry, and a lot of people are interested in it. And it seems like there's definitely a huge quality range from just storing stuff outside. It doesn't look very good to a building like this that's nicely designed and everything's contained and orderly on the inside. So I think that's where a lot of the concern comes in from other communities of just reusing old buildings and not really taking care of things. And it's just an outward eyesore. And I think this is the opposite of that. This is the high end type of facility that is good for the community. And what's really good about this one in my mind is the retail components or the, potential restaurants, things like that. I believe that other comparable building just across the road I think it's to the north, that only has one. Small start to retail and maybe the site just south of there. Yeah, that's a good image of it. You can see that's, another building that's probably in need of some different thinking soon. But this one I think it's a good fit for the area, and as long as it does have these mixed use components. And the other, I guess, big thing to note about this one is there's no outside self storage. There's no outside storage of any type. So you're not going to be looking at boats and blue tarps and motorhomes and all the kinds of things that certain communities have. You definitely don't want that on one of your main thoroughfares. Those are more like industrial type uses. So I think this is it's a good project for this location. And I will just say, sidebar, I was involved in another community recently. I had designed a project there, and there was a self-storage that met a lot of opposition. It was nothing like this. It was a complete opposite. It was actually an old Kmart that they were trying to reuse. And why it was, I guess, so ill received is they were building a lot of small metal storage shacks out in the frontage. So all you saw down your main thoroughfare of your city was these little tin boxes and some outside storage. The nice thing about this is it's a prominent facade, as close to the street as you can really practically do with retail design. You know, the 2 rows of parking. So again, this project is what you strive for, I think, when you're try to get a self-storage facility. These are there are a lot of notches up from the type of just older, not very well done buildings that there seems to be too many of in such certain communities. So I think this is a great reuse for this spot. You know, I do like that you noted too that the access hours end at 9 p.m. It's not a 24-hour access, so that should help the concerns of the adjacent houses as well. Trying to think. Oh, I really like the idea of the art proposal for this one. That is very interesting. I think that would be a cool part of the architecture to see. Yep, I think it's a good one. I'm in favor of the project. With that, any additional comments from staff?
Nope, there's nothing from staff. If the planning commission is okay with this, then we will move this directly to the regular meeting, which will be next week, the 17th.
I'm prepared to move forward. Mr. Huntington.
If that's consensus, this is Rob Willis, so am I.
Mr. Culpepper, we can move forward. I'm okay with it.
This is
Chair,
Gerald.
Commissioner Martin, I have one more question.
Go ahead, Commissioner Martin.
In the beginning, you mentioned amenities that others don't have. What are those amenities?
Are you're asking the petitioner?
Yeah,
I'm
I think.
sorry.
Are you asking if like the difference between this storage as far as it's air conditioned, things like that, or the additional retail tenants potentially, Mr. Martin?
Well, he generalized with amenities, so I don't know if it's the retail that he's discussing only, or air conditioning, climate controlled air conditioning. You know, a lot of places say that they're climate controlled, and they set the temperature so it stays at 68 degrees morning, noon, and night. I mean, is it the additional business opportunities there, or what? I'm just asking. It's a general question: is what were the amenities that they had in mind?
Okay, well, I think that just starting from the beginning, I think that it was discussed, and I appreciate it, that the first was just the basic design of the building. The developer is, you hit the nail on the head. They realized that they wanted to come up with something that this is their sort of their standard design, something that is better and more attractive than you see in many other communities. Completely self-enclosed, contained storage facility, and with the additional retail component that you don't often see. They often, as I mentioned, they have a small complimentary business center. So if somebody wants to have a meeting there is a conference room, there's internet access. They can actually hold a meeting there if they even wanted to, because a lot of the people have their business goods that are stored here. So they tried to make it more than with the retail component, self-contained storage, air-conditioned business center, just to make this a nicer facility than you typically would see in other communities.
I thank you for your answer, and I do think it's a good idea. I was just wondering, you know, the way it was stated that it might have been something more unique, but you've got it well rounded and well covered. Thank you.
Gerald Stevens Gunn is in support.
I definitely also support it, Commissioner Martin.
I think that's everyone. I think this is it's easy when they're well designed from the start. There's already a precedent on this road for a comparable project, and this one looks bigger and a little more involved, and it's got a lot of the same nice features.
All right, sir. So if the planning commission is supportive of moving this forward, then this will come back to you next Wednesday for final recommendation.
Thank you.
Thanks, Andy, and the rest of your team for coming out this evening.
Thank you so much. We greatly appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you next week.
Next, we have the public comment portion.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So for those who are watching or listening to the Planning Commission meeting this evening, this is your opportunity now to address the commission. You are limited to 3 minutes. And there is a telephone number to call in on, as well as an access code number. Now, those are shown at the bottom of the screen. The telephone number is 1-415-655-0001. When prompted, then you are to put in the access code 2345-363-0510, followed by the pound key pressed twice. So again, this is your opportunity. Should you have any comments for the Planning Commission, you can start calling in right now, and then we will line you up. And then again, as I noted, each one of you will have 3 minutes. Mr. Chairman, as you're aware, because of the delay between this live portion and then what's shown on cable, we will wait about a minute or so to see if we have anyone call in. So I will be back with you in a minute.
Mr. Spence, this is Rob Willis.
Yes, sir.
Just to acknowledge, I think I was about 8 minutes late. I do apologize for that with the family issue, but wanted to make sure for the record that I'm.
All right. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
You take care.
And Mr. Chairman, it doesn't appear that we have anyone for public comment this evening.
Okay, thank you. Public comment portion is closed. Meeting minutes for October 13th and October 27th.
Yeah, as usual, I will send those out on Friday. In this case, it'll be this Friday, the 12th, for your regular meeting on the 17th. And you can look for those along with your agenda and then any other additional information that we will send to you on Friday.
Any other miscellaneous business?
Nothing for me, sir.
I do have to apologize. I am going to be traveling next Wednesday. I did not realize that was the regular meeting. I'll be unavailable. That was my strong dissertation, I guess, on the design tonight. I'll tell you about the other projects I witnessed receiving opposition another time, but this one's a good one.
Great. All right, sir. So that means, Mr. Willis, I don't see you on anymore. But yeah, oh, you are. There you are. Mr. Willis, as vice chair, you will be chairing the meeting. As long as you're going to be here next week.
I will be here.
Awesome. Okay, great.
And on time.
All right. Is there anything further from the commission? Happy Thanksgiving. See you all next month, and meeting's adjourned.